What a goal it is, and we're on our way to the third place finish here.
Oh, yes!
Hello and welcome back to another episode as part of the Pacific Pursuit, and welcome back to Melbourne Victory, where in today's episode we've got two very crucial games coming up. The first we play against Adelaide United, the second against Macarthur FC away from home. Now those two games aren't too significant. What is significant is what is going on here in these spots. As you can see here, we have currently got the Wellington Phoenix, who are set to win the league, which is fair enough. They've been doing quite well for most of the season. The Central Coast Mariners, they're going to finish second. I don't think they can finish lower. They can't, no. And then we've got three teams in contention for this third place spot: the Melbourne City, the Western Sydney Wanderers, and the Melbourne Victory. Now, what's interesting about this is I have finally discovered who qualifies for what competition. Now, first place, obviously, as we know, qualifies for the Champions League. The winner of the Australian Cup is another team who qualifies for the Champions League 2, and then it's second place. Now, what's interesting about this is the winners of the Australian Cup in pre-season, the Central Coast Mariners. So they've already qualified for, I think they've actually qualified for the Champions League. But whatever happens, it means that third place is definitely what we need, as expected. But that's not how it works. We have to take the Australian Cup seriously, because that is a place in the Champions League 2, guaranteed by going and winning that. And it also means we win a cup as well, which I don't think this team has ever won. If we go and take a look, we've won two of them actually, the last one being in 2021 and back in 2015, so we've qualified through that before. But we need to take that a bit more seriously, knowing that now we did lose to the eventual winners, but I guess that we have that knowledge. It'll be important. And then we have it goes down to third place now. That means it goes down to third place, and we will be competing. Now, the three teams involved, Sydney are pretty much out of it. They'd have to do, they're out of third place, but they could stop us, so I don't think they're involved in this really. We've got Melbourne City, who their final two games play against the Central Coast Mariners and Wellington Phoenix. I think we can potentially count them out already by the looks of it, unless they have some insane games. And then we play there's the Western Sydney Wanderers, who I must say have had an incredible comeback. If we go and take a look at past positions, if you see here, if you'll let me click on it, look at that. Fourth place, all the way down to the bottom after 10 games, but they climb back up and now find themselves in fourth place. And then they play against Western United and the Brisbane Roar. They are two games they should get results in, but if they drop points and we win both of our games today, that means we would overtake them by 1 point, and Melbourne City just need to lose one game. We need the Western Sydney Wanderers to drop points. In terms of how their record's been, they've had a lot of draws. You start to see what happens. Let's get straight into it. We'll see what we need to do as we go along. The first game of the day against Adelaide United. So the team for this game against Adelaide United starts with Izzo in goal, Maclan, Jimenez in Sarah, Chapman, Geria, Teague, Macat, Giovanni in the middle. We've got Arsney on the left, Economidis on the right, and Fornaroli up top. Kick-off here in this game against Adelaide United. It's a team obviously we've not seen. We've played 10 different teams or 8 different teams. We will have by the end of this episode, as there's an opening goal in one of the games. It's not one that affects us. We're looking particularly at this game, Western United, Western Sydney Wanderers, which we'll speak about that in a second. Fornaroli has a chance to score, and he makes it 1-0 here, but I think he might have just gone a little bit too early. Western United, 13 points all season, or 12 points going into today. And they had an incredible performance against Melbourne City, and they basically won. And we now find ourselves in a position where we can catch up. If Melbourne City had won that game, we might not be in this position, but Western United managed to pull off an incredible result. One of only 2 wins I think they've had all season. And we find ourselves in a position to be able to catch up as we see the Central Coast Mariners take on Melbourne City there, and then we're looking at the bottom four, Western United versus the Western Sydney Wanderers. It's a Western derby, and that could prove to be a deciding factor in that game, as Kenne's down this left side, Arsney on the ball. Now the thing we can do is just play well, get this result, pick up the maximum points, potentially take over one of these teams, whoever it is, hopefully Melbourne City, and then it might go down to the last day with the Western Sydney Wanderers. That's an incredible ball. Arsney with the shot, what a goal it is, and we're on our way to the third place finish here. I do think third place is enough, it should be enough, considering that it's the team who win the Australian Cup who do qualify. I thought who was it? It's the Australian Cup, and whoever finishes second. We had an email, a confirmation about they've qualified for the Champions League, the Central Coast Mariners. I don't know if that's true or whatever, but it does mean no matter what, that third place, even if fourth place gets it, that it does mean that third place is guaranteed, that second Champions League second spot. So we really need to go and push for that 4 in a row. Can he make it 2-0 here? He shoots and he does make it 2-0. 23 goals in the league in this season, 4 in a row. He might be retiring at the end of it, but what an individual campaign it's been from him, and he's done incredible. He's been absolutely exceptional. 23 goals at 38 years of age, and we can't really complain too much about that. What a player we've had in this team. You wouldn't have thought a 38-year-old would be the one who gets 23 goals, but I guess he has, and we can't really complain. Now Melbourne City are winning in their game. It is Leckie, who is a legend in the Australian game. I feel like I've seen him at World Cups and stuff. He plays for the Melbourne City, as you can see here. He has put them 1-0 up. Ideally, we don't want the Melbourne City to win. It's the Western Sydney Wanderers who are not winning. It's not the worst thing, actually. If the Western Sydney Wanderers lose, what a goal that is. Giovanni, 3-0 here in this game. We can certainly say we're doing our part. We're also doing our part with the goal difference as well. When that goal does count, we will go ahead of these three involved teams on goal difference, which may well be a deciding factor in what we do in these final games. Now, it's not the worst position to be in at the moment. The Central Coast Mariners could get a win because the Wellington Phoenix are losing, and they need a win. If they get a win, by the looks of it, they will go. They could catch up should that game stay at 2-0 there between the Phoenix and the Jets, and that would obviously be important for them trying to qualify for the Champions League and get that a title under their belt. I'm sure they'd want to go and do that. We've done our part with the goal difference. Everything's looking pretty healthy. If the Western Sydney Wanderers drop points and the Melbourne City win, that's still not too bad, because it means we stay ahead of the Western Sydney Wanderers, and it also means that the Melbourne City, should they lose their next game and we win our next game, we can go on and overtake them. Even if they drop points in the next game, it could be goal difference. That's the deciding factor. I'm not sure if it's goal difference or like how they did it in, where they did it? I think it was Spain. I'm fairly certain, where it was based on like the head-to-head. I think it was that they didn't do goal difference and stuff. The difference could be the games played, but we're 2-1 up, I think, on the derby days. We are, as you can see there, we are 2-1 in this season. So even if that's a factor, I think we still win in terms of that. So we've done our part here in this game. Now it's a close eye on the other ones. Obviously, the Melbourne City winning away the Central Coast Mariners, and in the Western Derby, it's currently a draw. In the first half, you can see it's looking pretty interesting. It's set up to be quite the interesting final day in this A-League season, and whether or not we qualify. Third place is what we're looking for. The champions, Central Coast Mariners of the Australian Cup, it would drop the place down, and that means we would get into the Asian Champions League too, which, there was points in this season where I didn't think we were going to. I really didn't, but we've done well to get into this position, and now, all of a sudden, we've made a bit of a comeback. We had a bad spell of form, and we find ourselves in a position to go on and potentially make it. Now, one thing I have realised is that the points, not the points, but the games that happen after the normal league season don't count for anything. I don't even know what the point in them are, so there probably won't be an episode. The next episode probably will be it will be the Cup, the Australian Cup game. We'll have to see how that goes in tomorrow's episode. I don't know what game. I think the first 2 rounds I might play off camera, and then it depends what happens after that, who we get drawn against, because last year obviously we got drawn in the second round against the Central Coast Mariners. I think there's only 32 teams who play in it or something like that. I think they have like loads of rounds before, and then we have the 12 teams from this and then 20 teams from elsewhere, because you've got to remember there's only this league, and then the gap between this league and the other leagues is like no other. It's insane really how it works. There's no second division, hence no relegation. If you were to drop one of these teams into the next division, it would be insane. It's like bringing over the top team, like bringing over Real Madrid into this division. They just tear it apart probably. So if you understand it in that way, you clearly see how it works. And the second round we got drawn against a team like the Central Coast Mariners. I think we can go on a bit further, and it might be we come to maybe a semi-final. If we get to a semi-final, round 4, there's only 5 rounds, I'm fairly certain. Then maybe we'll show that, and then if that's our qualification for the Champions League 2 done, then we don't have to think about that, and the focus for the next week will be on the Champions League. But our job's not done here at the moment. It's been a very, very slow game. In the other games, the Central Coast Mariners have equalised, which means, as it stands, we currently go into 3rd place, which is exactly what we want. There's a goal here. I don't know what's happened. Is it an own goal or something? It is an own goal. The goalkeeper has just let it in, I think. It's a very interesting sight. Near the top of the table, the Wellington Phoenix 3-0 down at home, crumbling a bit under the pressure. The Melbourne City were the team who actually won the league last year, but it's the Wellington Phoenix who finished second, I think, who might look to win it. What's happened here? Oh, that's bad. He's behind his line. He's picked it up behind his line, and that is it's a goal. I don't know how it's no goal, because he's behind his line, but I guess not. What's happening in these games? There's still a draw in this one. If both of these teams drop points, then it's a simple task of we just have to win our final game of the season, and we should, if all goes to plan, be in that Champions League 2. It's a very complicated situation, but if I figured it out right, that's what I'm trying to say. Then we should be good to go for next season. We've got the plan set out, but I think we need to go and set the only commentary on this, because we've absolutely blown away Adelaide United. They have just scored, and when we've gone to only commentary, I think there's a curse, when you do that. You can never ever seem to win when you go, or like it just goes wrong when you go on only commentary. I don't know why. I think it's the game punishing you for wanting to advance so fast, but I don't know. Maybe that's what keeps players engaged, so they don't get bored of the game quickly. I mean, there's no in-game purchases you can really make. I don't know why they do it, but I guess they do. We're going to make some changes here. Both these games staying as a draw, exactly what we want to happen. I think we go and give some rare minutes to Duratovic up top, who comes on for 4 in a row. We want to rest some of these players. We'll bring Hennes off there, Velupalai on for Arseny, and then I think we bring Choi on to the right side for Economidis. But yeah, it goes to a final game by the looks of it. We'll keep a close eye on these games here. If any more goals will happen, there's no goals. There's probably going to be a late winner in this one. I just hope it's not to the Western Sydney Wanderers, and there has been a late one in this game. The Melbourne City and the Central Coast Mariners, and there's been a late goal in that one. Let's just go to the final game. And the team for this game against Macarthur FC, we saw what happened at the end of the last one. What can we do? Izzo in goal, backline of Hennes, Insera, Chapman, Geria, Teague, Macat, Giovanni in the middle, Arseny on the left, Economidis on the right, Fornaroli up top. Kick-off here in this game against Macarthur FC. I can't quite believe that's happened at the end of last game. What can we do? One thing that has become known to me as well, if it could get any better, Sydney FC in the final of the second Champions League. So I don't know what that means for us. He said the Central Coast Mariners, we had an email, qualified for the Champions League a while back. Here's Fornaroli, the chance for 1-0. What a ball it is, Giovanni. It's all the way to Arseny. 1-0 here in this game. Exactly with the start we needed, and at least we're doing our part in trying to secure this qualification. Now it means that if these 3 are qualifying, it would only we need 2 teams in the Champions League 2. So it would go to 3rd and 4th. There might be hope of 4th place. Now, it's interesting that when you go to the rules page of the league, it says that the Champions League 2 spots go to 4th place as well, but it also doesn't say the champion gets to the Champions League. I think it says 2nd as well, so I don't know what's going on there. It's very, very complicated, and now Macarthur all of a sudden have a chance to score from this penalty to make it 1-1. Will they go and score? The player stepping up to take the penalty, and it goes in. And it's not going to get, it's going to get harder before it gets easier. To say the least. That is a bit frustrating though. 7 minutes into this game, 2 goals. We don't, ideally, if there's no goals in the other games and we win our game, then we've done it. We will reach 3rd place. We just need drop points. And Melbourne City playing against the Wellington Phoenix off the back of what happened last time out. The Central Coast Mariners cannot win the league. That means the Wellington Phoenix have won the league. So I guess they have nothing to play for, but at the same time, the Wellington Phoenix are pretty good. I'm sure they'd like to win, so we need them to do us a favour and get a win. And then 1 drop points may get us in, 2 drop points, and we're definitely in at 3rd place. In behind, I think it was Fornaroli, it was Giovanni actually, who was in behind, but he's not able to convert in the end. And then we've got the Western Sydney Wanderers against the Brisbane Roar. I'll go and make a change here. We've had an injury. Broxham in at left back. What, can he not play left back? He's always been playing left back for us. He can play, not in the role that we wanted from Genes. Nothing similar to that. The Brisbane Roar actually have it interesting today, because should they win, they have a chance of getting into the finals, which won't obviously be, I think I've said, they won't be shown tomorrow, but we will just have to see. Let's just take it one step at a time. Let's take the rest of these. I mean, it's going to be a chaotic 80 minutes. First of all, the first job is we need to go and get this win. We need to get this win and get it done sooner rather than later. As a attempted ball in behind, Economidis is going to get to this. He keeps it in play as well. Very good from him. Back post, Arsney, he doesn't win his header. It falls out to Broxham here, who finds Arsney with a return ball all the way to the byline. He cuts back in. He plays it into Macarthur. Back out to Jerry. Can he release a shot? He's advancing with it, taking his time. He's going to look to square it. He does. Economidis is there. And we do lead once again here in this game. And we can see for the first time us in 3rd place. Not for the first time, but for the first time today. Or have we already been? I think we have already been until those 2 90th minute winners, because why wouldn't they be? Why wouldn't they be exactly when we need them to? There's 90th minute winners, but what can we do? 20 minutes gone in this game. Western Sydney Wanderers, Brisbane Roar, and the Wellington Phoenix winning in their game. As it stands, this is perfect. I think we need to focus on getting a few more goals. Economidis has a shot and he blasts it well wide in the end. We'll offer our praise. 20 minutes. We've been good. We have been good. So we can't really complain. But that is massive for us. The Wellington Phoenix 1-0 up in that game. Melbourne City, they do have a lot to play for. Western Sydney Wanderers, same with them. There's been another 2 goals, and Heskey's son is doing us favours. He scored, it was an equaliser, but then he's gone and scored straight away again. It's 2-1 in that game. It's 2-1 in our game. It's 0-0 in the other one, and the Melbourne Victory find themselves in 3rd place, exactly the position we want to be in. Let's take a look what's happening here. Macarthur coming on the attack. It's a shot, and that hits the crossbar. It was going. It had a bit of rise to it. You know, it was going into the roof of that net, but luckily it did go out in the end. The Brisbane Roar winning. We need calm. We've got a hat trick from Jaden Heskey. That's his name. Yeah, Jaden Heskey has got himself a hat trick. He's also leaving in 2 months, and we could potentially sign him. We do need a new striker. Fornaroli is leaving. It would be interesting to bring him in. How old is he? 20 years of age, I think it said there. He's put up some. Has he put up good numbers? He hasn't. He's scored against us like so many times, or he'd scored against us before, definitely. He scored there, and I feel like he hasn't scored against us again, but he scored against us here. He hasn't got loads of goals, but he's not bad. He's got a hat-trick in the game, and I think the Melbourne City are out of that one. Now it's just a case of what goes in this one. I mean, Brisbane Roar know they have to maintain that lead, because Sydney are currently drawing. If they were to win Sydney, then they would go back above, but I'm sure they'll know they would have gone in at half-time knowing that when the Brisbane Roar are in a position to go and qualify for the finals. So they will do their very best to uphold that. Jerry is in behind you. He squares it. Macarthur is there. What a save it is. I thought that was it. I thought we'd have the game sealed. We need to make sure we win our game. It's Jaden Heskey with a 41st minute. 4 goals. Four goals in 41 minutes. And I think that game is done. It is just now to this game, the Brisbane Roar and the Western Sydney Wanderers. 4th place may be enough. I mean, it's actually, even if the Western Sydney Wanderers score, and as long as we maintain this lead, we will stay in 3rd place. We just need drop points. Our goal difference much better than any of these other teams, which is good actually, because it never was a while back. We're getting there. We're getting closer and closer to making that 3rd place, which we aimed for at the start of the season. It's always good to have a goal, something to work towards, and look how it's turned out for us here. But it might not be done just yet. There's a shot. It's ducking and dipping and straight over the bar. Emil Heskey's son, man, what a guy. We spoke about him before, and he's gone and done us some favours here again. Did we play against him? I think, was it the last episode we played? I think it may have been, or was it this game here? It will have been, I think we did play against him, yeah. Yeah, it was, because it was that 1-0 loss, and then the 3-3 after it, so we've known who he is, and he was involved in that game there, and he's done us a very, very big favour. We need to do ourselves some favours as well, though, as Macarthur are coming on the attack here, nothing to play for, 11th place. They feel like a team who you hardly see. You don't really see them pull off much spectacular things. Hopefully they don't pull off a spectacular thing here after I've just said that. Macarthur gets it clear, and as far as Economidis, he's turned the ball very well, and he's got space to run into ahead of him now. Can he play Fornaroli in behind, who is it's got that golden boot pretty much wrapped up, but I'm sure he would like to continue to add to it. He could set the best individual campaign in Australia ever. I think he just needs 2 more goals, the 1 more goal to tie up the record, which is 27 goals. He got a hat-trick in the Australian Cup, and then 23 goals in the league here. Macarthur with a shot from range, he just puts it over the bar. So 26 goals, 2 more would take him to top in the best season ever. The best season ever. I'm focused on this game here. The Melbourne City are getting back into it. Surely not another late turnaround. Please not. The Sydney have gone ahead in their game. The Brisbane Roar, we're leading in our game. I think we'll go and make some changes. Can we have another goal potentially from Heskey's son, Jaden Heskey? Troyon in the middle there. I want to bring Economidis off, or we'll put Velupilai on that side, and then I want to bring Jerrier off as well, who's had a good game, but it makes sense to bring him off. Macarthur, can we go and complete our work here in this game, and we'll have to see what goes on after. Can we go and complete the job that we need to do? Macarthur down this right side, Economidis back to Jerrier now, back to Economidis, lovely ball, he cuts in, has the shot, it's gone off Fornaroli, I think. And that's a bit frustrating, really. The final few moments of this A-League season, I've got piercing eyes on these results. The Wellington Phoenix are winning. The Brisbane Roar are winning. The full-time whistle's going to go. I've just seen Melbourne City have scored. Let's go and have a look. Let's look what's happened. We've done it! We've done it! I thought we'd lost it. I thought we had lost it at the end. What has just happened? We are in... right, I think we have qualified. I do think we have qualified. I still don't know. It does make sense because the Australian Cup winners, the Central Coast Mariners, have... that's one thing we need to note for the future now, but the Central Coast Mariners have... unless it drops down to the finalists... who were the Melbourne City? Surely not. I mean, I don't know. I still don't know. There's a place going to the league, I think, because the Central Coast Mariners have qualified for the Champions League. It said that, so that must mean at least one team have gone to the 3rd place is going to go to an Asian competition. It should be to the Champions League too. If it goes to the runner-up, I still think we might get one. I don't know, but how convenient that they are the runner-up. But we get through on goal difference. That the 2-1 win in the end. It was a 90th minute equaliser from 4-1 down, because why wouldn't they? I think we've done it. I mean, you have to. This is a good thing I like about the webcam, you know, that I cannot speak and you can see what I'm thinking. So we're third place, and it makes sense that the winners of the Australian Cup, who would take up the second place spot who would take up an Australian a Champions League 2 spot, they finish second. They get both the Australian the Champions League 2 spot. So it either goes to the runner-up or it goes to the runner-up in the Australian Cup or the third place team. But they've qualified for the Champions League, so it should go to third and fourth. Hopefully we're there. If we're not, then what can we do? I think it's made for a good final episode. If we're not there, we're not there. I'm not going to show you these games, the final games. And yeah, the Australian Cup is probably where we'll return. But if we don't do it, we've had a good first season settling in here. It's been our first full season, and we've done very, very well, I'd argue. You know, if we don't qualify, maybe we don't hold ourselves so strict to those time frames, but it's very complicated. Maybe we've allowed ourselves a year to be loose. I think we've already used that by spending so long with Nagoya. I don't know, but whatever it is, maybe we don't be so strict. Hopefully we're there. So once again, thank you for watching. If you did enjoy that video, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe. I'll leave you this little tune. Hopefully we're in the Champions League too, and thank you. Bye bye.